Hey, hello everyone.
Hello.
Welcome. I think everyone's just connecting right now with the audio.
Hey, babies.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
That's Marie Eve.
I can activate my webcam. It should be.
Okay, so the way that you would do it is are you on a cell phone or are you on a laptop?
Laptop.
Okay, so at the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you're
Yeah.
going to see a microphone and a video, a little camera. Click on the camera.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay.
Yes.
Don't look at. Oh. Oops, dear. Hey.
Look what I just used.
Oh, nice. I just watched a video. I love it, but I would continue after. Sorry.
Look, it's all
Oh, I love it.
okay, so let's see. Hold on. I got to admit a couple. We're going to give everybody like maybe another 3-4 minutes to just come on. There was a few people who were really, really, excited. And I'm actually, hey, Enrica. Hey, Tim. Rob.
Hey.
I see Suk.
Hi.
There's Nelia, Maria, Monia. And I know there's a couple. I have Mazzani coming on too. There's Arlene that we're just letting in. How's everyone doing this morning? I haven't had my coffee yet, so I'm a little jelly seeing your coffee mugs.
Well, my second one.
Oh my God. Do you do curbside? Because I need one.
For a small fee, yeah.
Morning, everyone.
Just kidding.
No, it's all good. Did you guys get the chance to download the business plan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very thorough.
Right?
Hello, everyone.
Of course, that's Lisa.
I just pulled onto my driveway, but I made it.
She did say she was going to be a couple minutes late, but it's all good. She's never late for anything, so we'll let her slide on this one.
I promised it was late because it was all for a good cause. I promise you all.
How's everyone doing this morning besides, the regular mix of what we're living through? Good overall, eh? We're kind of finding the new norm again.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
This has kind of started becoming a new normal now. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. And I don't think we're necessarily gonna really ever go back to exactly how we were,
Yeah.
And
not too soon.
Sorry?
Not too soon, I said. Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay, sorry. I just have a couple of people that are waiting to be admitted as well. So it's 11:03. Maybe we'll give it till 11:05. And then what'll happen is I'll start sharing my screen, and I don't know exactly what's going to happen with everybody else, but I think you guys are all going to be able to see my screen, and I'm just going to go over some housekeeping rules and then give it over to Dee so she can guide us through everything else. Hold on, I'm admitting there's 2 other people that are in the waiting room. Hi, Mazzani. Oh, she's connecting. Aaliyah's on too, and so is Arlene.
I can't see. Hey, can you see me?
No, I can't see you, but you know what you can do? Are you on your laptop or your phone?
A laptop.
Okay, so on the bottom left-hand corner, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see the option of a mic and a video, like a little camera.
Oh, so start video?
Yes. Yes.
Hey, there I am. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
That's Arlene, everyone. We're actually going to give everyone the opportunity to do like a quick intro, just your name, your business, and we'll go over some, like I mentioned to everyone, some housekeeping rules, and just do a quick review of what Dee's going to go over, and then I'm going to hand it over to her so she can take over. At that point, I'm going to make her the host, so then she's seen on the big screen. Hi, Nelia.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for allowing me to join.
Of course, of course. So she's seen the live yesterday and she was like, send me the info. I know that there was a bit of an issue with the emails, like they were going to junk mail. So I think that that's just because I transitioned it on MailChimp, because MailChimp has like some really cool features where you can just click and get routed. So I did that, and because it was the first time that for some that I was adding on there, it's probably the case why it went to your junk mails, because it was unrecognized.
I still didn't even receive it for some reason.
Really? Not even this morning again?
Oh, very, very weird.
Ah!
I know,
course.
right? Technology.
Yeah, I was telling Dee, it wouldn't be an event without a glitch like that.
Of course not.
You know? So, okay, I think, oh, there's Jennifer. Okay, it's 11:06. I will be letting people in as they come in as well. But I'm gonna now share my screen with all of you guys so that we can start. Hold on here. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yeah, you guys can still see the window, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. That works. Okay. So the idea of starting these e-trainings initially happened when I firsthand experienced, I had to start revamping my business plan. I was put in a position where I had to, do it all over again. The business is evolving, and it was time to start brainstorming once again. And so I thought, okay, starting it all over again is a little bit tricky. But because I had done it from the get-go, like I had done it last year in the summer, I remembered I used Diondra's business plan, and I've had other organizations that sent me some resources, but I just found it really complicated. I found them too wordy, and so when I spoke to Diondra, she had let me know right off the bat that she had business plans and other resources that she offered. So she's like, have a look. And as soon as I seen it, I was like, this is the one. And so because I'm back in that position, I reached out to her and I said, hey, listen, I just wanted to let you know it's a great resource. And in having that discussion and reaching out to the focus group, it was made known that there were some key areas from the business plan that people wanted to learn a little bit more about. So that's how this all came to be. And the 7 key areas that Dee's going to be diving into were all discussed, and basically you guys were the ones that chose them. So I thank you guys specifically for the focus group. That has been an integral part of making this possible, because your feedback is what really gave us all the details that we needed in order to provide this to you. You guys are right. Most of you I've been privileged to be able to work with you firsthand. There are some that I've made just connections throughout the last couple of months. And if you guys aren't aware, I'm the founder of Open for Business Brampton, and initially it was a platform catered to specific local pop-up markets to give all local entrepreneurs the opportunity to gain visibility and brand awareness. But because of everything that's going on, I've had to, like most of us have had to pivot. And so there is going to be a shop that's currently being finalized. But in the interim as well, I figured, how else can I be of value to my community? And this was one of the ones that kept coming up, the e-trainings. I would love you to teach me this. I would love you. How do you make your stories look so aesthetic? A couple of people reached out about marketing, and finance. And there's a lot that's being planned right now for the future of the e-trainings. And I'm looking forward to being able to provide that to you guys as well. So a little bit of housekeeping practice rules. I want to let you guys know first and foremost that this is a safe space. So feel free to share whatever you'd like. We encourage and we want to encourage and motivate one another, because we're all entrepreneurs, irrelevant of what level or stage of the entrepreneurship process we're at. We can all learn from one another and teach one another where my weaknesses are, could be somebody else's strengths. And that's how you collaborate and connect and continue learning and evolving with one another. I did want to make mention that we are recording this webinar so that we can provide it, just as a resource for those who couldn't make it today. That will be shared on the private Facebook group. So it's not going to be easily accessible or open to everyone. It's just who's ever a part of the private Facebook group. So if you guys aren't on there, I'm not heavily on Facebook, but I am slowly transitioning on there. And it's a great way to keep kind of like a directory of all of the resources. Sorry, I'm just going to admit somebody here just popped up. And the last thing is ask questions. Ask as many questions as you want. This is why this training is provided. What we've done is we've broken it down. So with each key concept, as soon as Diondra is finished, we're going to open up the floor so that you guys can ask any questions that you may have. And then she'll address them, answer them, and then we'll move on to the next key component. So just to begin, I want you guys to be able to get to know one another as well. Because we are, social distancing doesn't mean that we can't be social. So if you guys can, we'll go around to everybody. So let me maximize this here. And just a quick, what your name is, who you are, what your business is, and what you want to take away from all of this. Like what one thing that you would like to take away from this. So if anybody wants to go first, any volunteers?
Oh, heck. Well, gee.
Okay, go ahead, Arlene.
Okay, Arlene Williams. I am the founder of Bonafide Organizing, and we provide decluttering and organizing services for residences, so residential as well as small businesses. And I have been offering virtual organizing, but I'm going to explode it now. Like it's a thing now. So. And my takeaway is really just to connect with the community. I don't want to live in my own bubble. I want to be able to learn. I want to be able to grow. And that's by connecting with other people and hearing what they have to say. I'm open to learn. And that's why I'm here. That's my big takeaway.
Awesome. Thank you. I would encourage you guys to share your handles in the chat, so that if anybody's interested in following, and making that connection, then it'll be easily provided there. At the end of this, I'm also going to send a wrap-up email that's going to include all the participants and your handles as well, so everyone can follow one another and whatnot. Thank you, Arlene. Who's next?
I'll go next.
You go.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Enrica. I feel like I'm back in high school here. I manage Enrica's Creative Designs, which is essentially paper products, so greeting cards, custom cards, home decor items, etc. Over the last year or so, I've tried to be a little bit more active on social media. I do it full time, as well as I help my husband with his business, which is contracting, which is not going so well right now. So what I'm just hoping to get out of this is just to connect, grow. Most of my items are personalized, so trying to sort of think outside the box and be a little bit more generic, just so I can push things out there a little bit quicker. That's it.
Awesome. Marie-Eve, you want to go?
I can go next. So I'm Marie-Eve, but Marie-Eve is fine. Yeah.
I don't have the beautiful accent she does. Sorry, carry on.
I'm from Quebec, but I live here now since 3 years. I started my organic skincare line. So I'm specialized in anti-aging and skin issue. And I made as well personalized products. So basically you can choose like your own organic essential oil, your skin type. And yeah, I learned a lot back in Australia as well. So I used to work in an organic firm, and I just love what I'm doing. So, and I'm always willing to learn more. And of course, social media, it's a big issue for me. Like I would love to learn more and connect as well. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Who's next?
I'll go next.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa.
You can see me because I can't see my face.
We could see you. I could see you.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Lisa Sophia. I'm from Brain Junction Wellness, and I offer yoga services, meditation, and Reiki healing. And right now I'm also offering virtual yoga classes every Thursday night at 9:30. So if that's something that interests you, again, I left my handle in the chat. And what I'm looking to take away from this is just to, again, connect with everyone, build relationships, and just learn, grow, evolve, and do it all together. So thank you, Karen and Diondra, for putting this all together. It's I'm truly grateful. So thank you.
Thanks, Lisa. You're so sweet. By the way, I did her yoga last night and I got great sleep, so I'm feeling very well rested. Anybody else? Anybody else who wants to go? Maria, okay, go ahead.
Hi everyone, I am Maria. I own and operate Tiny Tales. It was a company that used to run programs and events for mamas, for caregivers and littles at different spots in the community, but we have transitioned to this virtual platform, which it's a lot of fun for someone who's not used to being in front of a camera and getting over that transition. It's been fun. It's definitely a learning curve, and if I hear the word pivot one more time, I think I'm gonna go nuts. Like, I know the importance, but I'm like, oh my goodness, like, serious. I know, like, so I am pivoting. I have embraced it. I just need another word for it because I feel like we're on an episode of Friends, if anyone has watched.
Yeah. I keep thinking of that too.
I was like, "Ah!" I was like, yes, we're doing it. We're going. We will get there. So I do a little bit of that. And then before all this, I had a plan to introduce actual physical products, so a sensory bin. I don't know if there's a lot of moms in this group, but basically it's a kit that would engage a child's, or is meant to engage a child's attention using different materials and setting up a small world play. So really that's what I'm doing. Thank you, Karen and Diondra. I am looking to gain all the knowledge that I can possibly can. I feel like there's been this period has been a period of growth, a period of learning, and anything that I can take, I am absorbing. I'm like taking this opportunity to be that sponge and absorb and learn and just build a community. So if there's anything I can do for you guys, let me know. Thank you so much.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Maria. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
Oh.
My name is Mason. I am the founder of Capture the Star Education Center. So we are a tutoring program. We offer one-on-one tutoring, camps, education camps, little learners programs, and of course, now we're doing a lot of that stuff virtually. It's a little tougher with the younger ones because we had a lot of hands-on activities, but we're doing the best we can. And my takeaway for today is really just to find some new ideas. I know that you guys have a great amount of resources available, and to connect with the community as well. So just to get some more ideas on how to change directions.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you. Rob, you want to go?
Yeah. So I'm Rob. I am a husband and soon to be father in June to a little girl or boy we don't know yet. And so we're excited about that. And I own Kaizen Martial Arts, and we're a karate gym. We call it a dojo. And basically we teach classes to kids, youth, teenagers, adults. We teach everyone. So yeah, I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to be a part of such a great group of of entrepreneurs and, you know, great people. So thank you, Karen and Diondra, for organizing this.
Thanks, Ram. Thank you so much. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. I can do that? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
All right. I thought two people were talking at the same time, so that's why. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sukh Bhardwaj, and I help people buy and sell their homes. So I'm a real estate agent, and I'm very, very passionate about helping people. And I'm so amazed to see the kind of support that is available in the community. Had I known Karen like through 5 years before, you know, things would have been so different. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I also owned a business, a small business, wherein we traveled to schools and daycare centers, and we used to teach children dance, hip hop dance, and used to make a music video for them. And unfortunately, the term came to an end, and I had to you know, let that business go. And I'm 100% doing, I'm a real estate agent now as well. I am a yoga teacher. So I just got to know that Lisa is into yoga and meditation. So that's a beautiful connection there. So nice to meet with you, Lisa, here. And
So nice to meet with you
amazing
too.
support available here. Hey, Lisa. Yeah. Yeah. So and the reason why I'm here is to see that how everybody is kind of changing directions, and I'm all ears today to see what everybody has to offer, Dee has to offer. And Karen, I know her already from a couple of you know, times I've met, maybe not met her, but we've spoken through the market. So yeah, I'm just here to meet and connect with people, and just to get any idea, like there is just, even if there is one thing that can make a difference to my business, why not? So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Who else do we have?
I can go.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, maybe?
I'll just talk very briefly about myself. My name is Amisha. I'm the owner of the Food Quotient. We are located by Sandalwood Parkway and Hurontario Street. We are a strictly takeout and delivery restaurant. We offer vegan food. The emphasis is on vegan food, but we also offer halal chicken food as well. My handle is at the Food Quotient TO. I'm going to share that in the chat. So yeah, basically I'm here because the original attraction was, of course, to meet and connect with the community. This is a time when we feel so isolated because we are not able, and I'm a very people person, so I love interacting with people, but this is a time where, you know, we all are feeling very isolated. This was a beautiful way. Thank you, Karen, for you know, bringing the community together like this. The support has been simply amazing. The main attraction for this particular program was to learn more about strategy. The marketing and stuff, yes, definitely that helps. But I think if I in my business don't have a proper strategy, so one of my friends keeps saying this: proper planning prevents. So there's something about, you know, if you don't plan properly, then you're not able to execute it properly. So the main idea is to get a proper plan in place or a strategy, so you have a long-term vision of where you want to be. Current crisis and these kinds of curveballs will come our way, unfortunately, but I think this is a perfect time for us all to grow, to learn more about ourselves. And this term of pivoting, I completely understand, Maria, when you say, if someone says pivot one more time, because we as business owners, I think we pivot all the time. So this whole thing of pivot perish, I think should stop, because we do that all the time in our businesses. Just like how Sukh said just now, like, you know, she had to let go of one business and focus on something else completely. So we do that all the time, but I think the strategizing part is the most important part, just so we have a roadmap of where we want to go and what we want to do. So thank you, Karen and Dee, for doing this, and looking forward to it.
Thank you, Nisha, for joining us. Who else do we have? Nelia, did you want to maybe go next?
Sure. My name is Nelia. I'm the owner of Bumblicious, We provide I was in the corporate finance world for over 25 years, and then I got sick with breast cancer, and I've made a full recovery. So I've decided, I took another job for a little bit, but now I've decided I'm going to focus on doing this. I've been baking and making chocolates since I was probably 10, 12 years old.
Wow.
And the response has been overwhelming from friends. They're the ones that pushed me to do this, friends and family, because I've been doing stuff for them all the time. And so last year they said, you know what, I think you should start doing this full time. So that's what I've decided to do. We provide all kinds of chocolates, custom for events, for, I mean, you name it. Right now I'm doing Mother's Day boxes and Ramadan boxes, chocolate boxes. My thing is to the marketing, because I've had businesses on the side always, like a little hustle on the side, but it was different. It was always through like home parties or something like this. This is where now you need to market, you need to know Instagram, you need to know that, and I'm not familiar with Instagram. I was in finance, I used to do programming for payroll systems, so I do that, but this Instagram is all new to me. So I'm looking for the marketing aspect on social media, because that is unknown to me. I'm trying as best as I can, and connect with people to show what my product is and that it's different than everybody else's out there, and that I use real products and I work with everybody with their budgets. So, and that's it. But thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you so much, Nelia, and congratulations for being in remission right now.
Yep.
I think it's a fantastic thing that you continue pushing through, and you're trying to continue to get yourself educated like we all are. And I thank you for reaching out yesterday and for making it out today.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alia.
Alia.
I own 7X Fitness for Women. I've met a few of you on here through Karen. This is great. I'm looking forward to hearing what we've got scheduled today with the business planning. I have done a business plan for 7X Fitness in the beginning, but I never continued to, evolve it, basically. But I think this is a good time now that I'm at home and, doing whatever, I can focus on this. So I thank you so much, Karen and Diondra, for putting this together. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaliyah. Who I believe, Tiff, do you want to go next? Tiff, there's Diana. And a few of them.
Yes, sure, I was on mute. Okay, so my name is Tiffany. So I have two accounts. So I have the Brampton Mummies account that I kind of just started because I was like, I'm a mom out there living things, and how many times do we ask for advice or like ask a fellow mom, where did they do that or where did they see that? So I kind of started that one out of interest. But my actual business is Sport Ball Brampton. So I'm the program director there. We bought a franchise for the Brampton, Bolton, Caledon, Nobleton, King area. So we run multi-sport programs for kids. We start as young as 16 months and we go all the way up to 12 years. And pretty much we're just teaching kids physical literacy through the forms of school partnerships, community partnerships, communal work, and just other offers and events. But that's my full-time gig.
Awesome. Thanks, Tiff. She's awesome. She's awesome. That's all I could say. Who else is left? Diana, did you want to go next? Or Monia, maybe?
Yeah, I can go.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, I'll go after. Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Monia. It's so awkward because I can't see myself. I don't even know if you guys see me or not. So I'm going on good at social media. My name is Monia Lava, and I do Young Living Essential. I got into this about 6 years ago because I was very sick, and I had to find an alternative product to clean my home, and that is why I'm still with Young Living. And 3 years ago, I decided to share with everyone. And I'm not good on social. That's why when I met Karen, I was like, ah, you know, because she's so good on it. And I was like, can you call me please how I do this or whatever. And so I just want to learn social media. I did my first, I think it's called IGTV last night.
Oh, nice. Woo!
I need to learn how, you know, do this stuff, because I do a lot of markets just to try to change people. And I just want people to use a better product and make product that costs literally nothing, and it's so much better for you. So that's my little story. And I just want to say thank you, Karen. And I just love the fact that we can share here and learn in this community. And I think COVID, it's great because we've been doing different things, or we've been things that we forgot to do. Now we're doing again, but now I'm over it. I'm ready to go back out. But thank you for doing this, because now I'm learning things that I didn't know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining. Diana, did you want to go next?
Yes. Hey guys, I'm Diana. I am actually the owner of Juice Me by D. I'm also Karen's younger sister. I can't hear myself, so this is.
We can hear you.
Myself again. But I also run momager.d. I'll put my handles in the chat. But basically, I'm here because I took some much needed time off due to my baby who's on the way, baby number 4. And so I was actually suffering from some really bad pregnancy sickness. And I mean, it was bittersweet, but I took some time off. I also worked full time in the automotive. So COVID was kind of a blessing in disguise for me, as now I get to be home with my boys. I only have boys. Woo! So we'll see what we get this time around. Anyway, so I'm excited because I haven't actually drafted up a proper business plan for Juice Me by D. At Juice Me by D, I curate cold compressed juices. I also do fruit and vegetable cleanses as well. I work with you to customize goals in regards to your health. So, and right now, actually, it's a great time to join the virtual world. I'm not too great on or too fond with camera interaction, and so this is definitely new for me, but I look forward to it because I know that I have it in me. I just got to get myself out there, and my sister's been trying to do that, but I mean, I guess you got to be whenever you're ready, right? Exactly. And so now that I have time, I mean, why not educate myself and connect with the community and finally learn from my sister everything that she's been dying to teach me. So thanks, Karen, and thanks, Diondra. I can't wait to learn whatever it is that you guys have in store for us today.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
I believe we have maybe I think it's 3 or 4, and then we'll hand it over to D to start going moving forward. But is it Bina? Are you with us? Or maybe Jen, are you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here. Can
Okay,
you hear
awesome.
me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, cool. I can't show my camera because I was just with my son.
It's okay, no worries.
Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm really excited about the training today. Thanks so much, Karen and Diondra, for putting it together, because I've never done a business plan before. And I just jumped into starting this business with my husband, Elementary Naturals, just because we had a really big interest in creating our own soap, organic soap, all natural. And that's where we started. But basically, we have very limited knowledge of a business plan. So this is the place for me to be right now. Thank you so much. And yeah, our business started about a year ago. And we make soap, as I mentioned, and lip balm and body butter, stuff that we needed in a regular day-to-day life, but it wasn't so accessible to find that locally. So that's where we started.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you.
I don't know if Zephra's with us. Mohit, did you want to maybe do your intro next? I think that's everybody. I don't know if there's anybody else that hasn't introduced themselves. You can do that now before we move forward. No. Okay, that's cool. So thank you so much again to all of you guys for participating. I want to do a group picture before we move forward. So let us, if you guys are like, hey, Zephra's here. Yes, girl.
Sorry. I'm
It's okay.
struggling.
Go ahead.
Yelling at kids in between. Hi, everybody. I'm Zephra. I'm from CC Bags. So I do hand-made bags, but mainly crossbody wristlets and things like that. But with a twist, just not your basic kind of boring bag. Usually they have a pattern or a textile or anything like that, kind of to bring some interest. I always say it's like having a plain sofa. You kind of always have like a nice cushion to kind of make it pop. So like your jacket's gonna be black. Why does your bag need to be black too? So just to kind of add a little pop and make it a little interesting and to be different out there in the world. So that's kind of what I do. I do it all myself, all handmade. I do not outsource to anywhere. And now, thank God I don't, because I have lots of time to kind of sew. So I don't know, I'm just here because I want to learn about the business plan and really kind of, once we all get back up and running, just to kind of take things to another level. I'm working on a website, so Karen's been awesome with all these little neat tricks and tips and all this like Instagram, all this like social media. I thought I knew social media, but clearly I don't. So any little trip that will help, I'm all ears and definitely want to learn. So thank you guys for putting this on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, sorry, don't want to hold up too much because I know we want to hear about this.
No, I don't. That's okay. I don't want anybody to feel rushed either. I want everyone to, like I said, get to know one another behind the handle. You know what I mean? Like, I know firsthand when you introduce one another, you're like, oh, hi, my name is Karen. And they're like, oh, nice to meet you. And I'm like, yeah, so I run, Open for Business Brampton or Flawless Quality or whatever. And they're like, oh, that's you. Like, so, I mean, it is associated to us, but there is more behind the handle and behind the business. And, just that's mainly one of the main components and the goals of this is for us to be able to still interact with one another, even though we can't leave our houses. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so for now, I think, Mohit, did you want to maybe give a little introduction to everyone? Because I seen the
Hi. Yeah. Sorry, I was having issues with the microphone, which is why so I'm here representing Professional Touch Cater and Decor, and I'm actually representing it on behalf of my mom and her best friend. So they kind of started this because both of them love me and weddings and were very passionate about it. So they kind of wanted to step into the whole being a vendor, into the whole wedding world, and started in decor. And so this was kind of something they started later last year. But when we stepped into the business world, we realized that there's so much more to, I guess, facilitating and managing a business than, I guess, just your idea. And so I'm from a health idea how businesses work. And I guess we're just trying to use the time that we have right now to kind of, I guess, solidate our business plan and just how we're going to go about managing and dealing with the business and stuff. So I'm really excited. And everyone's business seems so amazing. I didn't realize how kind and genuine the business world is and entrepreneurs as a whole.
Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you know what? I've had the pleasure of either working or, connecting with most of people on here, and everyone's phenomenal. They've just embraced one another with open arms, and that's what I'm about. It's one of the biggest things I miss right now is not being able to hug people, but we'll slowly get back to it. Okay, so thank you so much to all of you guys for the intros. I'm gonna ask if you guys can kindly go on the video to get the picture. If not, that's okay. We'll get the picture and then I'll take it on to the next slides and we'll keep it, we'll move forward with D. Thanks, Dee, for being so patient. Okay, are you guys ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. I love it. Thanks, guys. Okay, so can you guys see my screen, like the presentation? Okay, I'm going to minimize this and then close off the chat. So, oh, all right. So that is, I had another slide, but I guess I downloaded the wrong one. And it was just the key concepts, the 7 key concepts that Dee is going to go into. So instead of me taking any more time away from Dee, I'm just going to hand it over to Dee. Just a quick intro, Dee, which she'll go into. But Diondra is the creator and director of Driven by Co. She is also a graphic designer by trade, and she's created and developed a slew of different resources, one being the business plan. She has a teacher planner. I believe there's the career planner, and she's launched a series on YouTube dedicated to business. I know she's focused on finances, marketing, and a couple of other things. And so I'm going to give it over to her now.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the intro, Karen. Should I start sharing my screen?
Yeah, so I'm going to make you the host.
Okay.
Give me 1 second.
Okay, awesome. So I can start now.
Yeah, that's all you.
Let me know when you guys can see.
Yep.
Yep. You can see? Okay, good. All right. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for being here. And it was really great. I made a lot of notes on who's in the chat and who's on this right now participating. I really appreciate your enthusiasm, and it's so great to meet people enthusiastic about their business and willing to learn and just, you know, share and grow. I love that. So I'm really happy to be here and do this presentation for you guys. So again, you know, it's very focus level due to time constraints. You know, we have 7
it's kind of popping up.
Oh, sorry, really?
Yeah, you're good now, though. You're good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you still see my screen?
I can.
Okay. Sorry, my internet is not the greatest at my house, so let me know and I'll repeat anything that I say. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that, you know, each concept we're just going to touch on. And, you know, even if it's something that you already know about, I just wanted to cover each area, and, you know, I'll answer any questions that you have, but we're just going through it as more of an introductory style. So let's get right into it. And yeah, don't hesitate to let me know if my internet is choppy or anything, and I'll just repeat myself. Okay, so these are the 7 concepts that we're going to be going through today. So we'll go through a quick introduction. I'll tell you a little bit about who I am. We'll talk about strengths and weaknesses, your vision versus your mission statement, a target market analysis, a SWOT, marketing tools, business setup and structure, and then lastly, financials. So a little bit about me. Sorry, 1 sec. Yep.
I'm seeing the Driven by business planning, like the intro page. Is everybody else seeing?
Oh.
Yep.
Yes, I see that.
Okay, so you're not seeing the 7 key components, right, that she just said?
No.
No.
Oh.
She might need to scroll down though. It says 1 of 41 pages. I don't know how the...
Let me try again here. Okay, let me stop and I'll start again.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, we're good.
Yeah, it was weird. It was, yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. So now you can see the intro and all that, the overview?
Yeah, everything's here now.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right. So a little bit about who I am. So if you don't already know me, my name is Diondra. I go by D because I feel like when people say Diondra, I'm in trouble. And I'm the founder of Driven by Co. But my background is actually in graphic communications, digital marketing, and entrepreneurship studies. So, but more importantly, I've actually gone through the process of writing business plans and marketing plans. And so today I want to just walk you through some of those steps. And a quick intro to what Driven By is. So Driven By is a brand that's dedicated to encouraging others to understand what drives them. And why do I do that? Is because if you reorient your life around what drives you, that's how you're going to lead a life to fulfillment. So in order to accomplish that, I focus on three main areas, which are personal growth, career development, and business development. So today's webinar is part of our business development side. And we also have a line of streetwear and fitness wear that is actually meant to remind you of what drives you. So you kind of represent, you have the Driven By logo right on your chest. So when people see that, you're able to finish the statement, you know, what am I driven by? And I want you to think of that every time you wear the clothing. So the income from that clothing is actually used to fund our community initiatives, which are unfortunately on hold due to COVID, but I still donate $1 from every single piece of clothing to the Boys and Girls Club of Peel. And so I'm sure from Karen, all downloaded the business planner, but if you link to that business planner on my website, so if you want to just drop, it's drivenbyco.com/resources. Okay, so let's get right into it. So the first section is personal strengths and weaknesses. And a lot of business plans that I've seen out there lack this section of their business plan templates. And I thought that this was a very critical component, because how can you really make a plan if you cannot see how your own personal capacities affect the plan? We need to first.
D, it's cutting out a little bit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay.
My internet is not the best.
I can hear you now, though. It's now.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, I'll just keep going. So essentially what we need to do in this section and to overcome your weaknesses and capitalize on your strengths. So if you have the business planner in page 5, there's a page called You, and we're going to do a quick self-assessment. So you'll see at the top of the page, it says your strengths, your weaknesses, and plans to overcome weaknesses. So I want a minute to just down at least 3 strengths that you know that you bring to the table and the business, because you usually have a strength or the reason why you started. So I'll just give you guys 30 seconds to do that. And then the next section, your weaknesses. I know these might be harder to identify, but take a moment to see where you have some room for growth, whether it's your design skills, social media skills, financial literacy, whatever that may be. If you can think of any, just jot some down right now. And then the final portion of this, so even if you don't have too much written down, that's okay. You can always come back to the activity. You have the business planner. But the last portion is a plan to overcome the weakness. So on the slide, you can see at the bottom there, it says prevent, manage, and react. So those are 3 ways that you can overcome your weaknesses. But reactions, your weakness has already. So you kind of want to avoid a reaction and really prevent your weakness from creating a problem or actively. So for example, in the first row there, if your weakness is design skills, you can prevent your poor design skills from ever becoming a problem by hiring a graphic designer. Or you can manage that weakness and use online design templates. The strongest in design skills, you're using some sort of, tool to help you out with that. So if you can identify any plans to overcome those weaknesses, jot down some ideas, whether it's taking courses, developing plans, talking to professionals, hiring people.
D?
Yep.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so that is the end of the first section. So we just did a very quick self-assessment. So if anyone has any questions here, let me know.
Did you guys all understand, the benefits of the strengths and the weaknesses component?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. So yeah, you can definitely do this more in depth later on, but I just wanted to quickly go through that process. It's a very important process. Don't see how their weaknesses are affecting, are standing in the way of their success. So the next thing is your vision versus your mission statement. So this is actually one of the most common questions that I get, asking about the difference between the two and whether or not you need both. So the simplest explanation that I can offer you is that a vision statement is what you see your company being in the future, whereas a mission statement is what you're trying to do with your business. And what you do is going to lead you to what you want to be. And I believe that it's important to have both of them, because if you have a mission statement without a vision, what do you really do when your mission is complete? You don't really have a vision, so your mission kind of lacks purpose. And if you have a vision statement without a mission statement, you kind of lack a plan of how you're going to achieve your vision or how you're going to become that. So this is essentially what most business goals would look like. Your vision statement is at the very top. Below that is your mission statement, how you're going to become what you see in your vision statement. And then below that, you have multiple operational objectives. So we're going to break each one down. So first is the vision statement. And if you are in the business plan, you're going to want to go to page 6. So the vision statement identifies the ideal future state of your business, and you want to write something down that is approximately 10 words. So it should be very short, should be very easy to understand, and it should incorporate what you value. So I'm going to give you a minute to jot down some ideas for your vision statement. It might take some time to finalize it, but write down some ideas. And my vision statement for Driven By is to be a community leader in fostering positive change and reorienting people towards fulfillment, just to give you a little bit of context. Okay. So we're going to move on to your mission statement. Again, you can always come back and work on these different sections, but your mission statement identifies the mission or goal that your business is working on achieving. So the mission statement should be very clear so everyone understands what needs to be accomplished. So take a minute to write down what you're trying to do in your business. And to give you some context, again, the Driven By mission statement is To support your personal growth, career, and business development with a focus on what drives you. To bring our community together, to share and learn from one another while making a positive impact. So you're going to identify what you want to do. And then lastly, we have your organizational or operational objectives. And these are going to be very specific, smaller goals that are going to help you accomplish your mission. So any part of your mission statement, you could create some sort of smaller objective towards that. And typically operational objectives will change every year. So at the beginning of 2020, you would sit and make, 5, 10, however many operational objectives would be relevant to your business. And they should be very specific. They should have a specific outcome. They should be measurable. They should be achievable, and they should be time specific. So you should be able to, if you create an objective for a year, you're going to want to be able to achieve that within a year's time. It should be realistic. So for example, if you're creating a YouTube channel, maybe one of your objectives is to gain 1,000 new subscribers in 2020. So at the end of the year, you can measure, if you achieve that goal, how many subscribers did you get in that year? So if you have any ideas, jot them down now. If not, you can always come back to them, but they should be related to your mission statement. And then to give you guys an example is the vision and mission statement from IKEA. So IKEA's vision is to create a better everyday life for the many people. So they see themselves being the provider of a better everyday life. Their mission is to offer a wide range of well-designed, functional home furnishing products at prices so low that as many people as possible will be able to afford them. And then their operational objectives could be related to any part of that mission statement, and they would usually change each year. So I just want to take a moment to see if there were any questions on this section. You guys okay with this section so far?
All good.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to move on to target market analysis. So I want to start off this section with a quote, and that quote is, "Being in business means knowing very clearly what you sell and who you sell it to." So this is important because it allows you to see opportunities and take advantage of them. So at the end of the day, you should know exactly what benefits your products or services, have to offer and who they stand to benefit. So if you don't have a clear idea of who your target market is, it can actually result in a waste of resources because you're kind of trying to sell to everybody. Same thing with your marketing efforts. So you're not be efficient because without identifying the audience, you're just trying to market to anyone who's going to be receptive to your message. And anytime you're trying to be everything to everyone, it usually results in very few people resonating with your message because you're failing to communicate to the very unique characteristics of the people who would be interested in your products. So again, exactly who does your product stand to benefit? And that doesn't mean that people who are not part of the target purchase or you're not going to, communicate to them. It's just, where do you have your focus? Where are your marketing goals focused? So a great tool to help with this is to come up with company avatars. And an avatar is essentially your ideal customer so that you can identify their needs and their traits. So what you would do is build a full customer profile for them so that you can understand their habits and then shape your marketing around that avatar. And I want to give you a real life example of a company that does this really well. Lululemon. So Lululemon they have two ideal customers, Ocean for their female and Duke for their male. They actually call their avatars muses, and it helps with their marketing and product development. So Ocean is a 32-year-old single woman who makes $100,000 a year. She's engaged, she has her own condo, she travels, she's fashionable, she has an hour and a half a day to work out, and she is aspirational. So this is going to help you visualize who you're trying to sell to. This is their ideal customer. So if you have any ideas now, you know, actually we're going to take it to this chart here. So if you are in the business planner, open to page 8. So in page 8, we're going to write down some of the ideas that you have for your target customer. So you'll see at the top, there's a primary, secondary, and tertiary customer. So your primary is your customer, and then your secondary and tertiary markets are basically people who also stand to benefit from your product, but they're not necessarily your primary target. But it's important to identify them because significant sales from these two sections, you're going to want to build some sort of marketing communications targeted at them as well. So this section is actually going to take a lot of research. You know, you can use Stats Canada and a lot of other websites to want to build that full customer profile for them. So geography, where do they live? Demography, how old are they? You know, how much education do they have? What is their family size? Are they single, married? Are they a family? Do they have children? What is their socioeconomic status? You know, do they make $100,000 a year? Or are they, you know, with your prices as well? What are their behavioral characteristics? You know, what do they like to do? What are some of their opinions? And then usage and benefits. How are they going to use your products and what benefits does it stand to offer them? So for example, for Lululemon in the usage and benefits section, people like Ocean are going to use the Lululemon attire for yoga. You know, some other people might use the attire just to, you know, walk around in or lounge around in, but Ocean is going to use it for her workout. So I'm going to give you guys a minute or two here just to jot down some ideas, if you have any, for your primary, secondary, and tertiary target markets. And again, you'll have to come back to this and do research to see, you know, how many people in Brampton are, you know, 30 years old who are looking for, you know, maybe to become healthier, and they're looking for maybe some health products to help them. But here the idea is just to identify, you know, who are you targeting? Who is your marketing efforts going to be focused on?
Dee, this is Amisha. I have a very quick question for you. So seeing as how the current scenario is, would you then say, so now that we're doing this, would I be basing my target customer on the current scenario? An ideal world pre-COVID-19, you know, how things would have been?
Well, I would say that your target customer is not going to change. It's how you distribute your products and services that's going to change. But I mean, I guess for the food quotient, that might be a little bit different for you as well. But I would say you would want both.
Okay, that makes sense, because it's just that, you know, with people being very, how they're spending their money and where they're spending it, all the steps I need to take to try and re-attract my customer. But and of course that comes into strategy, but just wanted to kind of get a sense of what would you recommend in this current scenario.
Yes, no, I agree. And I think it does come down to strategy. And I would even say that it's more of a marketing strategy. So how are you going to still communicate the value that your company offers to your target customer, but in a different way? So how are they now going to be consuming your products? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be through, you know, food delivery services, or, you know, instead of them actually coming to, you know, your storefront and picking up and taking out, like, how do we need to get the products to them? So how are we going to market that?
I get it. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Great question. Is there anyone else? Because that is, yes?
I also have a question regarding this. So in my industry, in martial arts, so I teach karate, and karate has this perception of being something for kids nowadays. It's changed since the time that my father started training, where it was actually seen as something only for adults. And so how much do you think, I've made attempts in the last, basically the last year or so, to target more teenagers and adults, because I know that people in my industry, it's sort of something that that industry created, where they use that as a target market. So now it's seen as something for kids by the general public.
Right.
But we have a strong adults program. We're just trying to grow it and get that message out there. So we do see us, and I'm worried, I guess, that it's like you said, I know that technically you're supposed to target one, demographic, maybe one age group. But I think that maybe creating a niche for ourselves that has a great adults and teenagers program can be something that works for us. I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
No, absolutely. And like exactly how you described it, like I see your primary, secondary, and tertiary market right there. Like, where are most of your clients now? If they are the kids, that's your primary market. But if you are looking to grow your secondary market, which is maybe the adults or teenagers, then I would again say build some marketing communications around that. And especially with your brand, like I really like the name of your gym. So Kaizen, I'm pretty sure that's a Japanese word for continuous improvement. So I really think that you can use that to speak to, especially the adults, like how are you going to continuously improve yourself? And I really think it's also about the platforms you choose to communicate, because it's very hard, especially on social media. Like for example, Instagram, like it's very hard to reach all three demographics on that one platform. People are going to look at your feed, and if they're going to see mostly kids, then they're going to automatically assume that it's just for kids. So, maybe Facebook is an older demographic on there. So maybe on your Facebook, you post mostly, adults doing the classes or families, that sort of thing. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And do you think, sorry, I just had a little follow-up question.
No problem.
Do you think that having, I'm not sure where exactly, it's something I have to put more thought into, what we're thinking about doing, because I always want to have a strong kids program. The idea that we have is to have people start, and so far it's been working out for us, where we have people who have been in our kids program for years, and they just transition into our youth and then adults program. And that's what we kind of do. We've been doing it for years. Of course, people take breaks for university, or if they have to move, that does happen, but that's kind of our thing. So I do want to have, maybe if it's a tertiary right now, market right now, do you see that transitioning from a tertiary to a secondary? Do you see that happen often in markets?
Yeah, I mean, depending on as your business grows, like, and the market changes, like you will come back to this and say, okay, my products are now becoming more relevant for this group, which is awesome. And I really think that what you were talking about there is kind of like that customer lifetime value, and like the customer starting as a kid and growing with you. And actually the Boys and Girls Club actually does this really well. So they kind of target parents, and they target kids. So they have a lot of kids programs, but they also have as the kids grow throughout the program, then they invite them back as what do they call it, like team leaders. So they kind of volunteer with the group, so they keep them that way. And then they also have a family program that engages the adults. But there's a very clear difference between the three. So I think for me, I believe it's very well understood, like how you can participate with the Boys and Girls Club no matter how old you are. So I think maybe that's something that that could help you. Make it clear as to how people are going to participate and the value that they're going to get depending on the age group. Do you guys offer self-defense? Sorry.
So it's not, we don't offer self-defense as a separate program. It's just integrated into our regular program.
Okay.
It's something I have thought about doing for people who don't want to take the traditional martial art. But I do recommend taking the traditionally because I feel like there's a benefit in that. But it's
Yeah.
something I have been thinking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you just need to ask yourself, well, answer the question for your customers and say, like, what, as an adult, what value and why should you take my program? And
Yeah.
kind of build your communications around that.
Yeah, that helps.
So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
we had Arlene in the chat say that she
Oh.
was always convinced to focus only on one target market. And I can attest to that. I've also been told that in the past. So you know what I mean? I think maybe it depends on what kind of industry we're into, but I agree with Arlene. I have been told that from some experts. So how and then I also see Amisha saying that she doesn't think that you can ever focus only on one target market, even if it is a specific market. What are your thoughts on that?
So like, I agree with both sides. So essentially you are going to focus on your primary market because that's, I would say, I'll throw out a number, 80% of your sales. So you're going to focus heavily, like the majority of your time and your marketing is going to be spent on that primary market. But that other 20% of sales is important and you don't want to lose that. So you're going to still want to spend some, have some marketing spend there, have some time spent communicating to these people who also derive a lot of value from your
80-20 rule.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't want to leave them out, right? Like, I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but I mean, if you're focused on that 80%, you don't want to make it seem like the secondary and tertiary market can't buy from you because you're only focused on the primary. That's not the case because it's not like you're going to turn sales away. So you just want to have a plan and that's exactly where social media comes into play because there's different audiences for social media. So for example, if you're focused on kids, you can be targeting kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
But you're not going to target adults on TikTok. But if you also want to target adults, maybe you have the Facebook platform as well. You know what I mean? But if 80% of your sales is coming from kids, then 80% of your time would be on TikTok. That's just sort of simplifying it, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Another example that I was thinking was baby clothes, because I know there's new parents to be on here. Baby clothes, I mean, we're not going to be targeting babies. Maybe 75% of the target audience might be new parents to be, but then there's the other the friends, the grandparents, the other market, right? So, and they fall into a different demographic. There will be, like, I'll give you my own example. My next door neighbor, somebody moved in and they just had a newborn baby. I am not at all the target market for baby clothes. My kids are older. But then again, I went out shopping because now I needed to go out and buy some baby clothes. So
exactly.
So yeah, I completely agree. Like, it is not, even if it is a very specific product, you cannot focus only on one target market or one demographic. That's how I've always looked at things.
Exactly. And even to expand on that example, so if for example, like Oshkosh, that baby clothing store, if they only focus their marketing on parents, they might miss out on all those sales from the friends and who don't know about Oshkosh, for example. You know what I mean?
Dee, I have a question.
Yes.
Alia, by the way. Okay, so I always struggle with an age group. So I'm a women's fitness only, and I kind of have an age group between 30 and 55. Does that make sense, or should I be streaming that more than, like maybe make that age group less? I'm not sure.
So do you offer different programs, or is it just kind of
It's
you're
membership,
talking
and
about membership?
based on the fact that I have a fully equipped gym and classes. So I guess the target market that I do like primarily want, I guess, is a stay-at-home mom, or and that's the other thing too, because I want the stay-at-home moms for during the day, and then I want the professional women that go to work, like the career women, in the evening kind of a thing. So like, how would I kind of work that?
Great place to start. So that's already, you know, shrunk your, I mean, your audience there. But again, I think it like because these people are going to, you know, want to fit, and you know, the ones who are a little bit older are maybe looking more from a like a health and longevity perspective, whereas the younger people are like, you know, coming back from their pregnancy maybe. So you want to like communications to each segment.
Okay.
So even for now, like where do most of your sales come from?
It's kind of all, I've kind of had all over. I've got the young girls coming in that just want to use the gym and they want to, you know, stay active.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like the, you know, I have all kinds of ages. Like I have the 25 to 30, and then I have like the 30-year-olds, and then I have the seniors. Like I've got a few seniors that are,
mm-hmm.
It's quite all over the map. And I think target what, like I, just by your example, Lululemon with Oceans, like they've got the 30-year-old thing, but I really can't, or I don't feel like.
No, and that's fair. And but you're also a gym for women only, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, like even there, like it doesn't. We don't want to focus too much on age group. It's just that with age, you typically get different interests. But I think it even comes back to your vision. So like, what do you see your gym as being to these different people?
Do you want me to tell you?
Oh, it's up to you if you want to share.
Oh, okay. No, that. Oh, yeah. Oh.
So yeah, so just think about what your gym is going to be to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way you can kind of split up your marketing communications. But I mean, you don't have to see it as, for your situation, you don't necessarily have to see it as primary, secondary, and tertiary, because maybe it's split, you know, equal between all three. You know what I mean? So you might, you know,
okay.
it's
So
equal.
that can happen. Like, yeah. So in your opinion, then, all three categories be a primary, basically.
Yes. For your situation, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can kind of split up your marketing accordingly.
So I've had some comments in the chat,
mm-hmm.
and Lisa had mentioned, well, let me just scroll up. She had mentioned if you offer childcare services while moms wish to work out. So if that was something that you were offering.
Oh.
Sorry?
Yeah, well, are you talking to me, Karen?
Yeah, so she's just, it was just a comment that she had made. If that was something that you were offering at the gym while other moms worked out. And I think she was more so just suggesting it as a recommendation from what I gather. But I think that that's also a good idea.
I think so. Probably something that I'm looking at doing for the future, because I'm coming in and saying, you have no daycare. And I'm like, no. Definitely something that I should, you know, consider.
Awesome. I also see here, Suk said that she thinks that your targeting is gender specific.
It can be. It depends on the product or service.
Okay, sorry, go ahead now.
Because for me, for Driven By, like my primary year-olds, and it's really not based on a gender, it's based on how they feel. Like they're the type to want to reorient their life and look for fulfillment. It's not, you know, women who want to do that or men who want to do that. It's, you know, it's more of like those psychographic characteristics.
There's also Amisha saying, you know, she mentioned perhaps receiving a gym membership from a husband to a wife, or a father to his daughter, which I think is still very much aligned with what Diondra is saying. So the primary for Aliyah would be women specific, depending on, you know, other demographics. And then the secondary and tertiary would be what Amisha's mentioned. So the husband gifting it to the wife, or the father to his daughter. You know, that's kind of where you get to play with her primary are women, you know, depending on the different demographics. And then the secondary would be whatever the case may be. And then I would say that would fall under the tertiary for her. So the husband to the wife, or the father to his daughter.
But yeah, don't forget that you can have, so for example, the Lululemon example, I only put Ocean in there, but they have, Lululemon has a men's line. You know what I mean? So it's not, I mean, sure, the store might be, you know, maybe 60%, 40% male, but they have both of those avatars that they're focusing their marketing communications on. And it's not necessarily, you know, Lululemon is for women. When you think of Lululemon, a lot of men wear Lululemon for working out and stuff like that.
I haven't tried it, but I'd wear it if it was comfortable.
Were there any more questions?
What I can do as well is I'll send you guys out a document where you can really fine tune the details of your ideal customer. So I can send that in the wrap up email, so you guys can, because it breaks it down into like point form, you know, and I think it might give a little bit more, just a little bit more help in general. But I think Dee's taken, she's clarified it to you know, to the T, but it's just an extra resource if you guys want it.
Yeah, this is awesome. My gears are grinding.
Good, that's what we want. Should we go on to the next section?
Yeah.
Okay, the fun part, the SWOT. So if you have the business plan open, let me just check what page that is. Page 9. Okay, so has anyone ever heard of a SWOT before?
Yes.
Okay, good, great. So SWOTs are actually one of the most common business analysis tools, and they're used for a variety of business decisions. So it stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So this time, instead of talking about our personal strengths and weaknesses, you're going to want to jot down some strengths and weaknesses of your business. So I'll give you some time to do that. But as you think about that, think about, when it comes to your strengths, think about your selling features. So whether it's, you know, the quality that you offer, you know, the variety of products, you know, maybe they're sustainable, maybe they're natural. You know, what are the strengths that you offer your target market? And then when it comes to your weaknesses, take time to identify your business weaknesses. So it could be things like limited product availability, or long lead time. So if it takes you a really long time to produce an order, if everything is custom for you, you know, it's going to be hard for you to react to trends. Maybe you have shipping constraints. What are some of the areas that you're struggling with? So take a moment to just write those down. And then we're going to go to the opportunity section. So your opportunities, you're going to take a look at what you wrote down for your strengths and identify ways that you can capitalize on those strengths and opportunities. So for example, if you are able to get new products to the market very, very quickly, then one of your opportunities is the ability to respond to trends. So anytime you see a trend in social media, you can quickly, do up a product and start selling that. That could be an opportunity for you. Maybe shipping efficiencies. Maybe if you have a natural product, maybe you're very unique in your niche. So once you've identified opportunities, when you build the rest of your business plan, you're going to want to, as much as possible, take advantage of these opportunities, because what happens eventually is other competitors will pop up and will try to take advantage of those opportunities. And then lastly, the threat section. So based on your weaknesses now, what threats do those weaknesses present? So maybe your product availability, you might have inventory issues. It's sort of like what happened to Target when they came to Canada. Shipping constraints, which are causing you high shipping costs. And then later on in your business plan, you'll take the time to figure out how you're going to overcome these weaknesses and mitigate those threats. In the same way that we did it for the personal strengths and weaknesses. So if you're in the business plan, if you weren't done, you can always go back to it. But if you're in the business plan, if you flip over to page 10, we're not actually going to go through this live, but I just want to point out the purpose of this page. And it's the exact same thing you did for yourself, but this is a competitive SWOT. So essentially what you would do is identify your top 3 competitors and then you want to identify how their strengths are threats to you and how their weaknesses are opportunities to you. And then let me know if you have any questions, because that is it for that section.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
When you're identifying your competitors, how close do you want? Like, would, for example, as being the owner of, would all martial arts schools be my competitor? Would it be martial arts schools who teach the same martial art? We're sort of in the fitness industry? Would it be everyone in the fitness industry? So that's a question that I have.
Yes. Oh, very good question. So you're going to identify competitors that are going after the same target customer that you are. So for example, I'm not sure if this is your reality, but if you are, for example, if you're targeting Brampton children from the ages of 12 to 14, what other gym is offering the same service and benefits to Brampton children ages 12 to something you want to think of it as, if I was a customer and I was thinking of what gym to go to, who would I consider if I lived in Brampton? Like, what are my alternatives to your gym? Those are your competitors. Kind of like if there's only, one Tim Hortons, one McDonald's, and one Burger King on one street, they're competitors, because if I'm looking, which one of them am I going to choose in my, but you know what I mean? If you're just in that one area and you're providing a unique service, What are your service
Okay.
to your target audience? That was a great question.
Thanks.
In my industry, I find that there's a lot of professional organizers offering clients within similar price point. So I feel that our target market might be very similar. So I've always been challenged with how do I find their weakness when, to some degree, I think it comes down to who the initial client feels most comfortable with.
Right. So maybe it could be even a service thing. So if I don't know if this is the case, but say for example, they had Google reviews. If you went through their Google reviews and looked at the 1-star reviews, like what are people saying? What are people complaining about them? Maybe they're not trustworthy. Maybe, they left things, not as organized as, it should have been, stuff like that. Like it is going to be hard when it's more of like a consulting business where it is relationship based. But try to focus. Like if I came to you and I said, okay, well, why should I pick you over Sarah? You could say, well, this is what I offer. These are, the benefits that I have that Sarah might not include.
Okay. Dee, can I add something there?
Yeah.
To answer Rob.
Yep.
So, sometimes I've also noticed that sometimes considering that this is competition, collaboration can also be an alternative. So I've seen like something in the music industry, rather than, artists considering each other as competition, they're coming together as a collaboration, and that's a win-win for them. And I've seen many businesses here, like small businesses here, as community as well, where they're like, okay, let's do this thing together and use each other's strengths, and there's a win-win not just for those businesses but for the customers or the clients as well. So
Yes, I love that.
Thanks, Dee.
Are there any more questions? I'm going to take that as a no. Keep going. So I know a lot of you, when you were introducing yourselves, were looking for, some tips on marketing tools. So I mean, marketing is I have a minor in marketing, and it's such a huge, broad topic that we could really get into so many discussions on it. But I try to kind of include things that might be helpful to you, including some tools that you can use to help you with social media and stuff. But I just want to quickly define marketing for you. So marketing is the activity, set of institutions and processes for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings that have value for customers, clients, partners, and society at large. And what I want you to take from that definition is you want to focus on the creating, communicating, and delivering value. That's what marketing is all about. A lot of people focus on just the communication aspect, but there's a little bit more to it. But one question I want to ask you, when you think of your marketing strategy right now, does your marketing make sense for your target market? If you think of your avatar, are you communicating things will be receptive to them? Are they going to respond to that? Same way I was talking about, TikTok versus Facebook. Are you on TikTok, but you're trying to reach people who are, a little bit older? Does that make sense for your target market? And I also get this question, asking whether or not you should be on multiple social media platforms. A lot of people they kind of sign up for accounts on every single social media platform because they think that's what they need to do. But it really comes down to, where is your target market? If your target market is not on Facebook or not on Instagram, then you really don't need to be on there. Especially if, it's taking away time that you need to use for other things. So number one, does it make sense for your target market to be on that platform? And number two, are you going to be able to manage it successfully? Because you kind of, for lack of a better term, you don't want to half-ass anything, because you don't want to jeopardize like your brand image on any of these platforms. So if you're not going to be able to manage, your Instagram profile, then, you know, you don't want to spread yourself too thin and sign up for all these accounts if you're not actively managing them and taking a full advantage of what they have to offer. So some tips for social media, no matter what platform you choose to be on, consistency. So you want to ensure that people understand the overall message and tone of your page so that it's clear as to who can benefit from your page. And each post that you have should have a purpose that is connected to some part of your operational objectives or your mission. So with each post, you kind of want to think about, like, what am I trying to do here? Am I trying to increase brand awareness? Am I trying to tell the brand story? Am I trying to gain more followers? Am I trying to communicate that I offer new services? What is it that you're trying to communicate? And you also don't want to have like wildly different posts, because people need to understand like what your page is all about. You know what I mean? Like if I were to follow an Instagram page about recipes, and then all of a sudden they're talking about like sports and news, and you know, I'm kind of getting confused if I'm following, you know, Recipes Canada and I'm getting all this other stuff. I'm like, well, I follow this because I'm looking for recipes. So the second thing is analytics. Most social media platforms offer some sort of analytics, and I know Facebook and Instagram certainly do, so you should really be making use of that. And you should understand what types of content people are most interested in and when they choose to engage. So on Instagram, for example, they have an insight section that tells you, it can tell you your demographic of who's looking at your posts. So I often look at that for Driven By, and I see, you know, the 25 to 30 or 4-year-olds are most engaged on this post. This post did very well. Why did it do very well? So you really want to understand like what's happening behind the scenes. And you should also understand, what time is a good time to post. So sometimes, you know, early in the morning, if you're targeting morning people who want to work out in the morning, maybe they're on their phone in the morning, or maybe, you know, the busy professional is not on their phone during the day and they come home and look at it at night. So you just want to assess as you post different things, see what times and what posts are more successful. And then engagement. So on all platforms, you're going to want to increase the engagement. So the algorithms behind many of these platforms will prioritize and show more of the posts of the accounts that have high engagement rates. So ways to increase engagement are to use relevant hashtags. You want to invite feedback on all your posts. So you can ask questions so that you encourage people to comment on them. You could respond to people. So if people comment on your stuff, make sure you're responding back to them. You know, increase that conversation, and also respond to other posts. You don't want to be that page that doesn't engage with the community. And I'm sure you guys are probably already great at this. Engage with other accounts. And then lastly, the aesthetic. Your content should look good at the end of the day. There's so many apps out there for design that, you know, there's really no excuse, because there's so much out there to help you that's free. So I'm going to go through that next, actually.
Yeah, I have a quick question.
Yes.
So for analyzing,
yes,
that's something, assessing and analyzing. I kind of struggle with that. Like I don't go back often enough and look at how my posts are doing. So and it's time consuming, but I know it's worth the time. But how often do you recommend doing that? Weekly, daily?
I would say weekly. I don't know how you plan your social media posts. Like, I don't know if you kind of plan the whole week ahead of time.
That's another thing I struggle with. I'm not good with it, so I'm learning. I plan to do it. I'd like to do it once, you know, take an hour or 2 or 3 or however long it takes once a week, and plan it out for the week. I think that would work best for me.
Yeah.
Now it's one thing to say it, and it's another thing to do it. So it's something I'm working on.
No, and that's fair. Yeah, being consistent like that, it does take time, especially, you know, you're busy, things are changing, and you have a family. But yeah, it's I would definitely say once a week is great. I try to kind of, there's different ways there's a lot of content planning software out there, or you can even just have like a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet to identify some of the messaging you want to, you know, put on your page throughout the week. And then, yeah, at the end of the week, I'll look back and be like, okay, I posted this at this time. That did pretty well. Maybe I'll do it again next week. You know, it's not something you have to be on every day. And I just think every month is a little bit too to like spread out.
Yeah.
Because I think that you should kind of, not to use the word pivot again, but I mean, pivot your strategy like each week. So if something did really well last week, you know, take advantage of that and keep the enthusiasm going through the following week.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so sort of, I mean, combining those, assessing and then planning out for the next week, maybe in one session, makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm actually going to get into some tools that you can use that will help you. Oh, sorry, Zamal, you had a question?
Yeah, Dee, engagement. Now, in terms of posting, and what I struggle with is, do I need to post every day, or can I spread it out and just?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of people think that they need to post every day, and yes, sure, that is going to, you know, increase the eyes on your page, because the more active you are on a platform, the more, you know, engagement you're going to get, just because of principle. But you don't need to, and especially think about your audience as well. Like, not everyone is on social media every day, and sometimes, especially with business accounts, they don't want to see your business messaging every single day in their feed, right? So, you know, you don't need to do that, but I would say remain consistent. Like, if you're going to post, you know, a couple times a week, like, stick to that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go a long period of time without posting anything. And stories are a great way to take advantage of that, because, you know, if people don't want to look at stories, they just won't. But a lot of people will scroll through their feed, and, you know, they have no choice but to see your post. But in the stories, if they don't want to see it right now, they'll just swipe by it.
Okay.
So stories are a great way to kind of stay active. Sorry, Nelia, did you have a question?
No, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Were there any other questions here?
Just, I just wanted to add something about the engagement component, and with what Aaliyah had asked. And I have seen that, like, there's a lot of social media marketing organizations that recommend that you post 3 times a day. But I agree with Dee with what she says. You know your audience the best. I don't want to overly saturate you guys in what I'm sharing. Sometimes it happens, you know, but you see what works and you see what doesn't. And so I think it all depends on what you're trying, the message that you're trying to deliver. So if, for example, you're sharing something, a post a day, or perhaps 2 to 3 times a week, I think all of those can essentially work as well. It just depends on your audience and how, and the particular message that you're trying to share with them.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to add, when I see people, you know, like constantly putting things up on Instagram, I tend to just, like, after a while, I just tend to, like, all right, I've seen it. Okay. Like, so when I'm doing that to somebody else, I just think to myself, like, I don't need to be posting every day. Like, I just won't do that, because I don't want people to be like, okay, I've had enough of her, let's move on, you know? And I feel like sometimes that's what happens with some of these people, that, like, 3 times a day, that's crazy. I would just be like, all right, move on.
No, and that's absolutely true. And I you know, I myself have unfollowed accounts that I just felt like I was getting bombarded with marketing messages. It's the same thing with email marketing. Like, Groupon emails me, like, I swear, 7 times a day.
It's true.
You know, and so sometimes I'm like, you know, I'm still subscribed, just because I'm like, I'm waiting for that one deal that I really like. But for the most part, every time I'm like, God, I should really unsubscribe to these people, because they're harassing me at this point.
My Groupon emails just go to the junk mail folder.
Oh yeah.
So.
There's so many. Gosh. Anyway, so yeah, so let's get into some of the tools that you can use, and I hope that, you know, you can make use of. Oh, sorry.
It's just concerning, like, the post. It's hard for me to kind of switch, not my follower, but it's just like I post, I don't know, a nice picture of my coffee scrub. I have a couple of like and engagement, but I post like a picture with my mom and I have more like and engagement, and I'm like, but I want to promote my products more than myself, but I found it hard to have more engagement with my products.
Yeah, and I think, oh, sorry, were you?
Yeah, I'm done. Sorry. Yes.
Okay. No, I think that just even comes down to human nature because, I mean, we're more likely to want to, like, it's a social platform and we're more likely to want to engage with people. So what I would suggest for that is, you know, post more pictures of people using your products.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're more likely to just scroll on by if you just see like just a mug. You know what I mean? Like if you see a person, you'd be like, oh, who is that? Like, what are they doing? You're gonna take a few more seconds to look at it if it's a person.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
No problem. Were there any more questions here? I'm gonna take that as a no. Okay, so marketing tools. I hope that some of these can really help you guys out. So I'm going to list a few as well that are not, you know, their icons are not here, so you could write them down. But there's different marketing tools for a couple of different things. First is design. So if design is one of your weaknesses, there's a lot of tools out there that will help you with creating those design templates. So number one that is I find is absolutely excellent, Canva. It's a free tool and it has so many design templates on there. It's so powerful, and I think that, you know, anyone can benefit from Canva. And I can't believe how much it offers when it's free. And for me, being a graphic designer, like I do a lot of my stuff from scratch, and I'm using like the Adobe Creative Suite. So I mean, like I'm used to kind of like building things from scratch. And then as I'm looking at Canva and everything that it offers, I'm like, wow, like this would take me far less time if I just did it here. Karen, we were talking about this the other day.
I was just going to share that. So when we were doing the dry run earlier in the week, and she mentioned this, I was like, I use Canva for everything basically. Everything that I create is, I would say 97% on Canva. And so she's like, I shared my screen with her and I was just kind of like, okay, let's make this change, let's update that. And she's like, oh my gosh, is this really like, that's how easy it is? Just click and click and click.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's creating it from scratch. Like
Yeah.
every single element. But I mean that then again, she's also that's her field. She's a graphic designer, but I'm like I'm glad she included it in this, and all of these are exceptional apps and softwares to use as well. So I just wanted to share that. Yeah. Carry on.
Well, it was so funny because you edited the icon and changed the color scheme of it, and I'm like, wow, I would have had to select the different points to select, like there's a yeah, it was just I saw it, I was like, you could do that in one click? Are you serious? So anyways, some other apps you want to write down for design. So there's some that even help you with your stories as well. So if you want those, you know, aesthetic stories with different templates, write down Unfold. So that's this icon, that's little white one that it just looks like some paper that's being folded. Unfold is great for stories. There's Magisto, which is awesome for videos. Pixlr, and Pixlr is spelled Pixlr. Snapseed, Snapseed. Patternator, Pablo, and I'm sure if you just did a Google search for free design tools, like, there's probably tons more. So the next one is content scheduling applications, and Rob, this one will be great for you. This allows you to schedule your social media posts in advance, so you can sit down and take that hour on a Sunday and, you know, schedule them, write your captions, put in your hashtags, and then you don't even have to go, well, I mean, you should go on the platform throughout the week, but you know, it's going to post it by itself.
Can you repeat that one?
The content scheduling applications?
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically content scheduling applications will allow you to take that hour every week to schedule all your posts.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I thought you meant I thought you said the name of one.
Oh no, not yet. So
okay. Sorry.
The one that I've got on here is, so at the bottom there that says later.
Yep.
So later.com is a great one. I don't use it for Driven by Now, but I used it for another account. Another one I've used is called Planoly. So, it's spelled Planoly. And Hootsuite is an awesome one. Hootsuite, yes, it's actually quite multifunctional, but it can be used as a content scheduling app.
Yeah, I've been looking at Hootsuite because I think with Planoly it only works for Instagram, but Hootsuite works across all platforms. If I'm right.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, Hootsuite is actually quite widely used. So
are they easy navigatable? Like, can I navigate them easily, or is that something that takes a while? Or
you know what they do have? So Hootsuite actually offers courses on how to use Hootsuite and also other social media platforms. And their courses are very well done. So if you just I think they're 15 minutes in length. If you just take one, I'm sure you'll become a pro pretty quickly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, they do a really good job. And it's not even just for their platform. Like they offer training for other platforms as well on like best practices and stuff like that.
Dee, I just wanted to go over the marketing tools you mentioned before. I just want to make sure because I want to look into them. Some of them I haven't heard of.
Okay.
You said Unfold, Magista.
Magisto with an O.
Magisto, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was it Patternator?
Patternator, yep.
And then was it Pixelator? I might be making
Pixlr, so Pixlr.
Pixlr, okay. Did I miss any of them?
Snapseed.
Snapseed, okay.
And Pablo, a Pablo.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And then the next one I want to talk about is presets. So presets are basically predefined edits that allow you to transform images in a single click. But in other words, it's basically a filter for your photo. And it's really popularly done on Instagram where you have a feed, like you have your page to look at. And a lot of influencers and bloggers do this. So if you notice, if you went on a certain influencer and you kind of notice that all their photos are really light and airy and they have like a slight tint of pink. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're using presets to have that effect so that, if you're viewing their posts in your feed, you might not notice it, but then when you actually go to their page, you kind of get this really cohesive look and all of their photos have that same color scheme.
Oh.
It does look very, very nice. And so a lot of apps do offer presets. And one of the big ones is Lightroom. So this LR here. So they have a mobile app where you can do presets like that. I personally don't do it for Driven By, it's more of a preference, but I would definitely suggest, especially if there's anyone, like Brampton mommies or anything like that might be something, that might be just aesthetically pleasing for your target audience. So it's up to you. And I've also heard that Hootsuite does it as well. And then the last one is for content repurposing. So content repurposing, I basically mean, if you notice on all the different social media platforms, they usually have a different aspect ratio. Like if you notice on Twitter, it's more of like a wide rectangle. Instagram is more of a square or like a long rectangle. And so you can't always use the exact same photo on all these different platforms. So it doesn't work if you just copy and paste your caption and, place it on each platform. Even the hashtags, Twitter, you only have a certain number of characters. So Hootsuite is an awesome tool to take care of this. And basically you can kind of like draft up one post and then edit it slightly to make sure it's repurposed for the different platforms. So you can take a photo and crop it accordingly for Twitter, crop it for Instagram, crop it for Facebook, so that it kind of has that best look on each one. I would definitely take advantage of Hootsuite.
Just to add on to that, Canva actually does that for you as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Canva does, but it's on the pro version. And so it lets you easily, so you can take, let's just say this presentation, and you just click resize, and then you pick whether it's the Instagram story or whatever layout you want to create it to, and it'll do it all for you.
Awesome.
And then you're
I didn't know that. I just wrote that down.
Yes.
Sorry, what were you just talking about? I guess I got cut out for a second.
That's okay. We were talking about the content repurposing on Hootsuite.
Yeah.
And Karen mentioned that Canva, the pro version, also does it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Canva does everything. Wow.
Canva is a lifesaver.
When you say repurposing, you mean like using it like if you post on Twitter, repurposing it to Instagram or Facebook.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and it allows you to kind of do it all in one. So you can kind of see, okay, here's my post on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you can, you know, slightly adjust the caption, because you might have a different caption on LinkedIn versus Twitter, especially because Twitter is a lot shorter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem. So that is the last slide in this section. So if there were any more questions, let me know. I'll take that as a no, and we're okay to move on.
All good.
Awesome. Okay. So the next thing I want to quickly touch on is business structure. Recently, I've come to know that there are a couple of entrepreneurs that I've met. Oh my gosh, if you can hear my cat, I apologize. I've come to know, and so yeah, they actually did not know about business structure. So I just wanted to provide some clarity on this, even if you already, you know, are well educated on this topic, not to worry, but I'm just going to go through it quickly. So there are three main business structures: sole proprietorships, partnerships, and corporations. There's a couple more, but not, these are the three main ones. And my main point here is that you need to register your business as one of these. Because if you don't, a lot of people kind of get into business without going through the registration process. And, you know, that can put your business at risk of fines. If you're a sole proprietorship, it can be up to $2,000. If you're a corporation, it can be up to $25,000. So, and not to mention like the income tax troubles you could get into if you're not reporting your income tax. So, you know, I just want you to avoid any of the, you know, if you find yourself in that position. So I'm just going to quickly identify what each one is with a few points. So a sole proprietorship is an unincorporated business owned by one individual, and it is the simplest kind of business structure. It's also very, very easy to form. You know, a master business license is what, $60. You can register through Service Ontario. It's quite easy. The owner of a sole proprietorship has sole responsibility for making decisions. They receive all of the profits, claim all of the losses, and they do not have separate legal status from the business. So that means that the owner assumes all the risks of the business. So, I mean, in a rare case, if you find yourself in legal trouble and, I don't know, you have to pay a fine of, you know, $10,000. If your business doesn't have $10,000, then they're going to go into your personal account. That's what I mean by that. So if you are a sole proprietor, you pay personal income tax on the net income generated by your business, and you may choose to register your business name, or you can operate under your own name, which a lot of people do as well. Then partnership. So partnership is a relationship between two or more individuals, and each partner will contribute money, labor, property, or some other skills to the partnership. And in return, each partner is entitled to a share of the profits. Now, so like a sole proprietorship, partnerships are very easy to form as well. But you know, you can even form them based on a verbal agreement and just quickly sign up your business. But you should have a partnership agreement in place to identify, you know, the distribution of the profits and losses and that sort of thing. So the owners in the business are one. Which means, again, you know, they're both responsible for all the losses and the claims against the business, unless they form what is called a limited liability partnership. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. So moving on. So each owner is also going to pay personal income tax on their portion of the income of the business based on the partnership agreement. And then lastly, is a corporation. So a corporation is a business structure that is a separate legal entity from its owners. So there's no longer that personal liability, and the risks taken on by the shareholders are limited to how much they invest. So if you invest, if you're a shareholder in a business and you invest $1,000 in the business, you can only possibly lose $1,000. So to create a corporation, you must file articles of incorporation, and there's a couple other steps as well. So it's a little bit more difficult to form than a partnership or a sole proprietorship. And corporations as an entity pay corporate tax that is not tied to the income tax of the owners. And that was it. So were there any questions on that part?
Yeah, I have a question. So
yes.
if I'm gonna go into, so right now I'm I've got a corporation. So if I was to find a partner and bring on a business partner, and I'm a sole owner, by the way, I don't have anybody else in my corporation, like no shareholders, nothing.
Okay.
But if I was to bring on a partner, would I then have to transfer it into like a partnership agreement?
No, no. So a corporation can be owned by more than one individual if that's the structure you've chosen. It would be different if you're moving from a sole proprietorship to a partnership. Yeah, but if you have a corporation, I'm not too sure of the details of how it works, but it's owned by more than one individual, sorry, it can be owned by more than one individual. So as a private corporation, which I'm assuming is your structure now, you being the sole owner, you have 100% of the shares right now. So if you bring on a partner, you kind of split that ownership, maybe 50-50 or 60-40, that way. Yeah, but I'm sure that.
Alia, this is Amisha. So just to touch on that point, you would actually have to, the new owner will be part owner and they would be buying shares into your corporation.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works. So I'll give you a very, very simple example. When you're buying stock on the stock market, you are now part owner of the corporation because now you own shares of the corporation.
Right, yeah. Thanks, Amisha.
So yeah, the best thing to do for this is to actually contact a business lawyer who can guide you more, because it's very important to have it set up in the proper way so that you don't have any kind of issues in the future.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Amisha.
My pleasure.
Are there any other questions?
I just wanted to add on to specifically this component and then the marketing one. There are already other training sessions that we're actually working on to plan that cater specifically to those two. So if you guys have any further questions about the financial stuff, I mean, feel free to ask away. But if not, I am going to be bringing in other industry experts that are going to be able to fine tune those questions for you. Just to share that.
Thanks, Karen. Okay, so I guess we will go into the financial section. Again, it's going to be very, very brief. I just want to touch on a couple points that I felt were important. So you do want to remember that a lot of entrepreneurs go into business because, you know, they're looking for that freedom and autonomy to do what it is that they feel passionate about. But also remember that money is the lifeblood of your business. You have to make money in your business to keep it alive. So as part of that, I want to make sure that you know exactly what goes into your prices. So your price should cover your COGS, which is cost of goods sold. Absolutely needs to cover all your costs. It should contribute to your expenses and should contribute to your profit. So some people that I've met kind of just say, you know, like I'm charging this because this is what I feel I'm worth. You know, that's fine, but you need to make sure that it is contributing to your expenses and it does cover your costs and you are at the end of the day making a profit. So your cost of goods sold, that's a little bit more self-explanatory. So those are the costs of your product or your service. And I'll go into that actually on the next slide. But I do want to touch on your expenses and how much you should contribute to your expenses. So finding the contribution margin here, you need to understand your projected sales and your projected expenses. So at the beginning of the year, you want to do those projections and have, you know, come up with a figure. You know, I expect to sell, let's keep it simple. I expect to sell, you know, 1,000 products this year in volume. And then you're going to want to project, okay, you know, this year I'm going to sell, I'm going to incur expenses of $1,000. Okay. So when you divide your annual expenses by your annual volume, so that's $1,000 divided by 1,000 pieces, that's $1 of expenses that each product should be contributing. That's like that's oversimplifying it for sure. But I mean, if you did $10,000 in expenses over 1,000 products, you know, that's $10 that each product should contribute. And then lastly, your profit. So you should have adequate profit to make sure that your business is healthy. And then the second part of your price is also understanding what the market and your target market is going to accept. So as an example, if you are in the business of making custom candles, you know, if the going rate for a candle is $15, you're not going to charge $100 a candle unless you're targeting, you know, very, very wealthy people who are looking for a luxury candle in their home. You know what I mean? But if you find that you have to charge $100 a candle because it costs you $75 to make one, then you have an issue with your costs, and you need to somehow reduce those costs to kind of bring your price back into a reasonable margin for your target market. Are we okay here? Okay, awesome. So then I want to talk about your cost of goods sold, because I do find that there is some confusion here among entrepreneurs, and they don't really capture everything that goes into their costs. So for example, for me, for the clothing line component, if I'm selling a t-shirt and I know that it costs, you know, if I'm selling it for $20 and I know that it's me $15 a t-shirt, so I'm thinking I'm making $5 in profit, but I have not included the costs of the freight. I have not included the costs of me packaging the t-shirt. I have not included any of the marketing supplies that I put into the product when I ship it. I have not included the cost of the transaction. So if people are on my website and it costs me, you know, 7% of the transaction is taken by whatever e-commerce site, I have not included all that. And at the end of it, if I'm not looking at it from that perspective, it won't be until I complete the annual income statement that I'm going to see that I've made no profit at the end of the year. So if you're selling a product, make sure you're including the cost of manufacturing the product, cost of freight, if you're getting it shipped from, you know, if you're shipping things from China to here and that's, you know, costing you a lot of money. Are you including that in your product? Are you including the packaging that you're applying to the product? Are you including the cost of fulfillment? If you have a warehouse, is someone going to, you know, grab those things and put them in a bag or, you know, in the shipping boxes? Are you paying them? You know, what is their contribution? And again, the cost of the transaction. If you're a service, you know, it's not only the supplies, it's the labor, who's applying the service, you know, how much are you paying yourself? If, you know, if you're doing a service and you charge, I don't know, $20 an hour, you know, and you not only need to include in your price the cost of your supplies, you need to charge that $20 an hour, and plus the cost of the transaction if you incur any costs. Is that's clear? So lastly, I just want to talk about accounting. And the takeaway here is that everything needs to be recorded. So you need to know exactly where your money is going at all time. So to be able to do financial statements at the end of the year, you need to have seen where all your money is flowing. So all the purchases that you've made, all the sales that you've made, like you need to have visibility of that. And so I would suggest implementing a system to record those sales and expenses in real time. So depending on the size of your business and depending on, you know, what you can take on or your knowledge or you know, if you need to hire a record keeper because, you know, you're so busy running the business that, you know, you need someone else to handle that side of it, that's absolutely fine. Just know, you know, where your weaknesses lie and what you need in this aspect. In the business plan, I've created a very simple template for recording those things if you have not already done so. And it includes, you know, a date of transaction, a reference number, client name, description of the product or service, transaction type, whether it's a sale or purchase, transaction amount, tax, you definitely want to include tax. And I would also add cost of goods sold and any freight. So at the end of the day, you want to capture as much detail as possible in the most efficient manner. And you can accomplish this with Excel spreadsheets. You know, if you're actively managing that, you can also use accounting software. And so I've heard QuickBooks offers a really great platform. I've not personally used QuickBooks, but I have used Sage. And I do find Sage really great, but it's a little bit too robust for what I do. I mean, I don't need all of the features that it offers. But I mean, depending on your business, you know, these are some tools that you might decide to use. Another benefit is if you keep all these records active, when tax time comes around, it's not going to be a big headache. You can, for me at least, like all I need to do is kind of output my documents at the end, because I have all of my sales expenses, everything recorded, and all my source documents, which are like your receipts or invoices and stuff, like I have those filed away by date. So basically, you know, if I'm looking at the 2019 tax year, I literally just export a huge zip file and send it off, and I'm done. And I went through this, I want to point this out because in the first year of doing business at Driven By, I was not doing this, and tax time came around and oh my God, that was not fun. So
just a quick note here. I use QuickBooks myself, and but I also use Excel, bunch of different things. At the end of the day, my accountant doesn't want anything to do with QuickBooks. He says, just give me, so he's given me a format that I should be using, so it makes it easier for him. But I use QuickBooks for my internal purposes, just to keep me, you know, I know in real time how my business is doing. I don't have to wait till the end of the year. QuickBooks is really good because you can actually scan and upload invoices directly into QuickBooks. Bills, any kinds of receipts, you can actually upload those in there, and you can actually tally them with the expense that you made. You can actually link your bank account, any credit cards that you're using for business purposes. You can upload all of that. It updates automatically. And I think QuickBooks is really, really intuitive. So if anyone is, if any of you need any more information, we can take this offline, and I can talk more on QuickBooks. But I really love QuickBooks because it gives me, and at the end, you can even see a profit and loss statement, a balance sheet, everything. And I think it's pretty simple to use, even if you're not from a finance or an accounting background. It's really good to use.
Awesome. I love that feedback.
Yeah, I was also gonna mention you're accepting payments. For example, I use Square for all my memberships, and the point of sale app that comes with it is actually really good for just looking back and seeing trends.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, actually, I've used Square as well.
Yeah.
Awesome. Were there any other questions at this point?
So, I have an accountant, and he charges me on a monthly basis, but I always end up getting like this report 4 months later saying, what was this expense for? What was this expense for? And I'm like, oh, I don't remember. Like this is my first year in business, so it's been really hard for me because I'm not tracking, right? So would I still need to hire a bookkeeper even though I have an accountant?
I mean, so your accountant is not offering those bookkeeping services, I'm assuming?
Well, he does QuickBooks because that's what he uses. He uses HubDoc. So everything's online. That's what he's, said to me. But the fact that I get this report, and I send off my receipts as I'm getting them, like as I'm going through them. So he then says, like I said, 4 months later, I'll get some, like an Excel sheet, and it's got all these payments on. So where was this from? What was this for?
Maybe he's not doing it. I guess he's doing it, or she, or is doing it every 4 months.
Yeah, because the thing is, you can, depending how you're submitting it to them, you could either, if you're scanning it and sending it to them, just write a note on the back if he's looking at the receipts himself, or find a way where if you're scanning it, put a piece of paper or in the front of the receipt, put what it is for.
Yeah, that's what
I do my son's and my husband's financials for their business, and most of the time they have no idea what it is. But when they come into the house with the receipt, I write down what was this for. That's the only way I can keep track of it, because my son travels for his work, and he could be gone for 4 or 5 months at a time, and it's international, so he has to write down what they're for.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I do that as well. Just put a note at the bottom of the receipt saying, what this purchase was for. And then I kind of get, like, you know, every month or so I get a little pile going, and then I can see, okay, I did this, this and that. It's, yeah, because it becomes hard after 4 months. That would be very hard to figure out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can also tell you the way I work with my accountant. I send him my bank balance. So anything that most of my expenses are on my credit card. So and then I just pay it off. So I just send him the balance, and on the balance from your bank statements, it says what the expenses were for on it. So it makes it pretty clear to him what I was buying.
I need a new accountant because
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be rude.
Everything he's got, like I said, QuickBooks and HubDoc, so all my statements open up to him. So I don't know what he's doing, and I've kind of been struggling with that. But anyways, I think I need to find it. Like, I really believe now I need to find it.
Yeah, find someone you trust. Yeah. My accountant has been doing business with our family for so long that he just kind of seems like part of the family. So I had a great relationship to start with, which was nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Were there any other questions? I think not. Okay, so moving on, we're near the end. Well, we're pretty much at the end now. And I know that we went through every topic very, very briefly due to time constraints, but I did want to mention that I'm going to be running a live business plan course starting in May, where we're going to go through all of these topics in far more depth, and then you'll actually be working on and completing your business plan live with me. It's going to run for 6 weeks, and at the end of it, you will have a completed business plan. And so the regular price for this is $75, but because of your participation today, I definitely want to offer it to you lower. Thank you, Karen. And again, don't feel any pressure at all. If it's something that you think you can find value in, you know, you're more than welcome, because I know how tough it can be to stay accountable to complete the business plan. So I'm just offering that. And here's just a quick overview of what we'll be going through. I mean, this doesn't really explain all the concepts, but, you know, getting started, your structure, your customer, marketing and branding, e-commerce and finance. And, you know, we'll be doing a lot more, including applying for a trademark, vendor analysis, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so if that's something you find valuable, you know, please let me know. Let's connect. But yeah.
But is it a one-on-one, or is it like this, like a Zoom call kind of a thing?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a group. So I'm trying to have a small group where we kind of do these sessions, and then you know, I'll be available to you throughout the week if you need to call me or anything like that, and talk things through. So yeah, it'll essentially be just like this, but we'll be kind of focusing on very few topics each week, so that we can really get, you know, dive deep into it.
Okay,
great.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for sticking through this and, you know, hopping on and listening. I really appreciate, you know, your enthusiasm and participation. All the questions were awesome. So if we're not already connected on social media, like, please connect with me at Driven by Co. I'm happy to chat with all of you guys. And Karen, thank you so much for setting this up and all the work that you've done behind the scenes. You know, all the graphics, you know, I'm liaising with everybody here, you know, getting everything organized. So I do, and it's been a pleasure to be on here and be the first webinar series. So thank you so much. And I guess I will turn this over to you as the host, if I can figure out how to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. How do I make you the host here, Karen?
Karen, you're on mute.
Thanks, Amisha. I'm like talking and I'm like, why? Okay. It's okay, Dee. Whether you make me the host or not, I mean, oh, she did it.
Got it. Got it.
So thank you first of all, Dee. Thank you so much. You were amazing. Everything that you provided. I know that, you know, there was a big time constraint, and I also recognize that the intros took a little longer than we had anticipated, but we also didn't want to rush like you guys as well. In the post wrap-up email, I'm going to send out a very quick, whether it's 3 to 5 questions, just to get a gauge as to what you guys would, you know, would have us improve on for the next one. And Dee will be coming back for more. I had an absolute pleasure working with her. There was pictures that we would send each other
of our hair.
Of our hair, because we got the curl situation going on. And yesterday going on the live, you know, I was like, are you interested? And she's like, yeah, but I'm gonna have to, you know, do something about this. So it's been a lot of fun. I would have never, like I said, initially imagined building such strong relationships with each and every one of you guys. And again, Dee, thank you for delivering such an amazing training. I know I've been able to get a lot of value from it, and I've already written a business plan. So you know what I mean? Like, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you guys for listening and for coming and for taking, you know, a couple of hours of your day to give yourself some extra added value. We have an actual surprise for you guys. So I've put all of the names of even the people who have left into this. I may need to get a bigger box, so just bear with me for a second here. But the idea is to, so yesterday in talking to Dee, I said to her, okay, how am I going to be able to pay it forward to you, you know? And so she's like, oh, don't worry about it. Like, I want to do this. And I'm like, okay, girl, come on. So what I decided to do was I purchased a toque and a t-shirt, one of her toques, one of her t-shirts. And I said, I'm going to do a raffle for it to all the participants. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to join in on that, and I'm going to give away one membership to one of you guys. So that's what we're going to raffle off right now. So it's going to be a t-shirt. You just got to tell me or tell Dee what size you would be, you know, and because I didn't know if I should ask her for a small or a large, you know, I don't know who the winner is going to be. So I got the box. Oh, you can't see it. I got the box. And I'm just gonna dump all 20 in there. I'm gonna shake, okay, but I can't see, right? So I'm gonna close my eyes, do one of these. Okay, I picked one. Can you see?
No, oh, Jennifer.
Jennifer, congratulations. That's Elementary Naturals. Congratulations,
Yay,
Jennifer.
thank you. Excited. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, guys. And I'm going to be adding that component to every training. So, Rob, how did you add that? That's so cool.
What did you do?
Oh my God, you too. Oh my gosh.
What?
All I'm seeing is little emojis like clapping.
Yeah, your reactions.
You just go to reactions, yeah.
Well, look at that. How do you even do reactions? Wow. Oh, I see at the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a component that I'm also going to be adding to every one of the training sessions, because I do think that Diondra's taken a lot of time to, you know, develop and create it, even though that's something that she wanted to do as a branch to what she's currently offering. It was my way of being able to pay it forward and still support local and still, you know, offer something to you guys too for taking the time to join us. So thank you guys. Jen, we're going to be sending you, or maybe you can stay on after and just, or just leave in the comments your size. I would assume, like, you know, your size, and you can also leave your email so that Dee can send you out the details about the training when it starts and whatnot. And for everybody else, I'm going to be sending up a wrap-up email to just focus on, you know, the point form, key components, and the highlights of today's webinar. And if any of you guys are interested in wanting to do something like this, you guys have strengths outside of your businesses, get in touch with me. I'm down to collab. I'm down to work with you guys. Also, as an added touch, there's also going to be not just trainings, but stuff that we can do as a community together. And I'm currently working on two things. One is, Lisa, if you're still here, I'm going to drop the bomb, but we're looking, Lisa wants to offer a yoga session to all of the Open for Business Brampton community. So that's also something happening, and a potential paint night. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. You know, we're more than just entrepreneurs. I want us all to legitimately feel like a family. And so I know I like to have fun. Obviously, we can't go out and do it. So what better way than to bring it virtually? So thank you guys. Thank you. Honestly, I'm at loss of words, and I appreciate all of you guys so much. Seriously, you mean the world to me. And it's not, I'm not even saying that lightly. We didn't even do a lot of promo for this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Dee and I were having a discussion about that. I was telling her, I'm like, shoot, I probably should have done more. And when we did the live, we seen just a lot of people from the focus group, and you know, from the other Zoom calls that we did earlier in the week and last week. We wanted it to be you know, kind of like a tight-knit, intimate community. But just the feedback that we received, like there was 20 of you on here. 20 of you, that's mind-blowing. Like, thank you so much. So before I continue rambling on, I know I'm a little hungry.
I know, me too.
I see Tiff. Yeah, I was gonna say thank you, Tiffany. I see her. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And look out for the emails. They'll be sent sometime today. I'm gonna try to eat before I get that done. Thank you guys. And if you have any other questions, shoot them. Send them via DM. I'll create. I don't know how I'll actually do that, but just send it to me via DM or whatnot, and then I'll cross-reference with Dee so that she can also give you guys the answers accordingly. Oh, little guys there. So yes, thanks guys so much. I appreciate it. Jen, congratulations. And we'll see you guys in the next training.
Great.
Bye guys. Have an awesome
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Love everyone.